down a dark, dark path to a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house was a dark, dark room. In that dark, dark room was a dark, dark closet. In the dark, dark closet was a dark, dark box. And in the dark, dark box was a... You! Ooh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Boo! In fact, do a scary storytelling with Eth-Noh-Tec.
I am Nancy Wang.
And I am Robert Kikuchi Ngoho.
And we are
Eth-Noh-Tec.
Yeah. Streaming live from the dark, dark Orchis Center.
And on this dark, dark island we're on?
On this dark, dark night. And soon it will be the dark of night, when ghosts and demons and goblins are free to come out to finish
demons,
any unfinished business.
Skeletons in the closet. But who is experiencing the clear nights of a calendar these days? One day, one night is the same as the next. So beware, eh? They could already be here, visiting you.
I mean, look to your right. See anything unusual?
Look to your left. Ooh. Anything there that should not be there?
Do you sometimes think you've seen something flash by on your right or left side, and then when you look, there's nothing there?
What behind you?
Oh.
Right now? Do you feel anything weird on your back?
A breeze, a breath on your neck. But no one is there.
Or you're sure you put your keys?
Or that bracelet in the dish at your bedside.
And it's now across the room, hanging on the doorknob.
Have you felt an unexplained pressing on your chest? You know, we know that this year has been very scary. Unrelenting fear.
The pandemic, the deaths, the suffering.
The environment, the hurricanes, fires, floods, and droughts.
And the children caged. The killings and violence against protesters. And that orange pumpkin in the house. Ugh, that's really scary.
Oh, what was that sound?
What? Where? I didn't hear anything.
It was like a whisper.
I didn't hear anything. What did it sound like?
It sounded like something like whisper.
Oh, you're always hearing sounds. You scared me half to death with your gasps. What was that?
No, but I did hear something back there, behind us.
But there's nothing behind us, but just a wall.
Well, maybe something is in the wall. You know, maybe I'll go and investigate. But in the meantime, you tell your story.
You mean I have to stay here while you go look?
You're all by yourself, but it's okay. It's okay. Which story are you going to tell?
I'll tell the talking corpse.
Maybe it's the talking corpse in the wall.
Okay. But you investigate, and I'll stay here.
Yeah, by yourself.
By myself.
Yeah, by yourself.
And tell my story.
Yeah.
Just don't get distracted.
Yeah.
Don't get lost in the story. Don't get lost in this story. The talking corpse. This story from Tibet is called The Talking Corpse. Ngamo, 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 ngamo. Once upon a time in the land of Tibet, there were 3 friends. A prince, the son of the minister, and Nicho, the beggar boy. Oh, these 3 friends, they played together, they laughed together, they played games together, and they were very fond of contests. And as they grew older, the contests got more and more serious. And one day, these young lads were in a rock-throwing contest to see who could knock out the strange large nest in a tree. Well, of course, it came to a wager. The prince stepped forward. I'll bet my father's great treasure trove. And then the son of the minister piped in. Oh, well, then I'll bet my many treasure boxes of gems and jewels. And then Nicho, the beggar boy, stepped forward. Well, I'll bet. And the other 2 mocked him. Beggar boy, what could you bet? You have nothing. You're a beggar boy. Well, then, I'll bet my life as a servant to whoever wins. And the deal was sealed. And the rock-throwing contest was on. And rock upon rock was hurled at this strange nest in the tree. And because those wealthy boys were not very strong, their arms tired, and soon they went home in shame. I'll be by soon, cried the beggar boy. I'll be there to collect my treasures. And as soon as they were out of sight, Nicho picked up the rocks and hurled them faster and harder many, many times. He was angry. Angry because they had mocked his poverty. Angry because he had offered as a wager the only precious thing he had, his freedom. And so rock upon rock, when suddenly, he knocked out that large nest. And as he approached that bramble of branches and twigs, I won. But as he got closer, suddenly the branches began to quiver and shiver and roll around and tumble right before Nicho's feet. And out of the nest popped an old man, a monk in a crimson robe. Very good. You are the winner. In fact, you are the chosen one. Who are you? Doesn't matter who I am. It's who you are becoming. I'm just Nicho, the beggar boy. Beggar boy. No, you're the one who's going to save the world. Save the world? I'm just a beggar boy. Oh, you're too poor to help the world? No. You have a task. You must go and capture Rodongup, the talking corpse. Talking corpse? Whoa, what kind of dead person is that? He doesn't live here, no. He's down in the land of the lost souls. Dwajir Swatse, I've heard of this place. Yes, the land of the lost souls. And that's where Rodongup is plotting to destroy the world. But you catch him fast. And you bring him back to me. I don't know what to do with him. But how can I have, what can I catch? Here, take this. And magically, there appeared a rope, a net, and an axe. Take these things down there to the land of the lost souls. By the way, don't be distracted. Distracted by the others. Others? Yes, the lost souls. There are hungry souls that are engorged with food. There are dreaming souls that dream they're awake. There are lost souls that will never come home. And they'll keep crying at you, take me. But don't take them. No. Only take the one. Roll them up. He's the only one who will say, don't take me. And be quick. Now go. Nicho nodded and the crimson-robed monk vanished in a wisp of smoke. He gathered up these things and began traveling. And he remembered more warnings of the old man. He said that if he talked to the old man, talked to the talking corpse, he would face his worst hell of all. If he talked to the Rodongup, it would be his worst hell of all. And so with those things, he gathered and started walking down through the valley, down between the rocks, between the crevasses, and down deep into the bowels of the earth. All the while he wondered, what would be my worst hell of all? Worst hell of all, what would that be? My worst hell. And as he descended deeper and deeper, the darkness grew deeper into a deathly black. And suddenly, A mist began to appear. Colors began to shimmer in a fog. And he knew he was no longer in the living land, but had entered Dwajaswatse, the land of the lost souls. Fog like swampy, eerie mist. Death was everywhere. Dead plants and skeletons everywhere. And he saw in the mist, he saw hands reaching up and then disappearing. The lost souls, hungry souls that were always hungry, and dreaming souls that were dreaming. They were awake, and awakened souls that were lost in dreams. All of them were crying out, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me. And it was growing louder and louder and became a maddening cacophony. Take me, take me. And then suddenly, out of that din, there was a single voice. Don't take me. Huh. Don't take me. He saw up in a tree, a lifeless branch of a tree, a body slung between the branches with a head dangling and staring. Don't take me. It's the talking corpse. He quickly gathered his things. He laid out that net. He got his rope ready. And as he raised his axe ready to cut down that tree, suddenly the tree just bent over on its own and delivered the corpse to the net. He went to wrap up that net with the body, and then suddenly whoosh, the net wrapped up by itself. He reached for the rope, and whoosh, it flew out of his hand and wrapped up and tied up that dead corpse. And all the while, that bound-up corpse looked up at him, grinning. Don't take me. He lifted up that corpse and put it on his back, and then started his ascent up into the land of the living. You look like a nice boy. What's your name? Don't talk to it, don't. I see we have a long way to go. You mind if I talk? Don't talk to it. Don't talk to it. Don't talk to it. Well, I see we have a long journey, so I suppose you don't mind if I tell a story to pass the time. You do like stories, don't you? Well, then I'll begin my first story. Once upon a time, as all stories start out, there was a robin and his lovely robin mate. They were in love. They were soul mates. You like love stories? Oh, never mind. You have your duties. I have mine. Well, back to the story. The two lovebirds, they were so happy in love, and suddenly there was a horrible forest fire. And the fire destroyed the tree and the nest, and the two birds sizzled and damn. But all was not lost. It's so sad a story, don't you think? Don't talk to it, don't talk to it, don't talk to it. Well then, but don't worry, because you see, there is reincarnation. Lucky for them, in fact, they were reborn. This time they were reborn as a pair of deer, a handsome stag and a lovely doe. They were in love as well. They were soulmates, destined to love. And one day, the doe went down to the river to drink. And all of a sudden, she didn't notice there was a black cloud, a thunderstorm, and lightning struck the tree right where the stag, her mate, was standing. And that stag leaped to escape the falling tree, plummeting down, down, down into the gorge. Oh, he died. He died. Surely he died. And the doe was so broken-hearted, she died of a broken heart. Both dead. So sad. Don't you think? Well, do not be dismayed by this sad story, because it always has a happy ending. You see, there's a time now reincarnating to other lives. In fact, this time, the two destined loves were reincarnated. Of course, they didn't meet each other. They were far apart. In fact, the doe was now a human, a lovely, pretty princess. But she was so heartbroken by her past lives that she refused to talk to anyone, refused to marry anyone, unless it was her true love destiny. Now, the king, her father, was very concerned about this, and he looked everywhere to find a mate, someone who could match her, and he promised a palace and treasures and her hand in marriage. And the word spread out, and he came to a place where, another kingdom, there were three friends, a prince, a minister's son, and a beggar boy. What a coincidence, just like you. Well, as it went on, of course, the two boys, the three of them, all three of them, wanted to have a bet. Who could make the pretty lady talk? Because it was in their nature to bet. And so the prince bet a treasure, the minister's son bet his treasures, and the beggar boy, he had no wealth to draw from. And so he had to use his wits. He was smart, he was clever. And so he consulted a dead body. Can you imagine that? Talking to a dead body. Preposterous. Well, the dead body had a story and told him the story of the past life, how the soul of that princess who would not talk was really the soul of a robin and a mate, the soul of a deer, the soul of a human who was waiting to find her true love prince to come along to marry him. But she would not marry unless it was the true love person, and it was none other than the beggar boy. And it is you. You are the one, the chosen one. You were that robin in the past life. You were the stag deer in the past life. And you must go to her now. You must go to her now. And so he did. The beggar boy ran to the palace. At first the king was dismayed. How could a beggar boy be a husband to my daughter? But it turned out when the princess, looked him in the eyes, deeper and deeper into his eyes, suddenly she was struck with an ember of remembrance, and she remembered the life of the bird, the life of the deer, the life she had now. And she spoke, "It is you, my true love." Oh, the true love. They met. And of course, they proposed their marriage, and the king was overjoyed. He held a grand feast. And the two were married. And of course, those two losers, the prince and the minister's son, they had to give up their riches. And so he was no longer a baby boy. He was very, very rich. He won the contest. He won. I won. I knew it. I knew I would win. You talking to me? I won. The ropes snapped. The net disintegrated. And a black cloud loomed up and engulfed Nietzsche as his last thoughts faded into madness. Worst hell of all. Worst hell of We're back.
Oh, I'm back. I didn't find the talking corpse.
You talking to me?
Oh, don't do that. But that poor boy.
Oh, yes. Well, he did get distracted, and his ego got to him, and his need to be the winner. Unfortunately, there are people in this world who have such a need, a craving to always be number one all the time. And, all the time. And some of these people end up dragging the rest of us down with them. Any of you know someone like that?
It is a scary reality right now out there. I really wish that this whole year was an illusion, and that we'll all wake up from this nightmare.
Well, it is time for the second story.
Right. Here's my story from India.
Ooh.
Golden Chains, a Chataka's Tale from India. The ropes and pulleys gently clanged against the mast of the great ship. Chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung. The night sky was sprinkled with twinkling stars. A gentle breeze drifted soothingly across the face of the cabin boy, who sat high in his perch at the top of that mast. Chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung. The night was the cabin boy's favorite time, and his perch on the mast was his favorite place to be. It was where he felt the most peace. Unlike his days on the deck with the sailors shouting, "Boy, find me a hook! Boy, bring me a rope, boy!" Oh, the cabin boy shook his head at the day and then thought, it was the blessed night now. The sailors were asleep below deck. He was alone, just him and the gentle swells of the ocean below. Here at night, he felt the guiding light of the bodhisattvas, the holy ones, and the blessings of the Buddha. Chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung. Soon the gentle clanging lulled him into a dream. A beautiful horse, a silver, beautiful winged horse, high, high upon, soaring above the river of stars, and then suddenly it turned into, "Run, run, run for your lives, run!" The cabin boy awoke with a start. He did not understand. He never had nightmares. His dreams were as gentle as he was. And then, no sooner than he thought his thought, the cabin boy felt a heaviness on the breeze. He leaned forward into the now pressing wind when suddenly giant waves rolled the great ship out of control. To the left it leaned, to the right it pitched, and bow! The waves slammed the ship against unseen rocks, splintering the ship to pieces. The next morning, the surviving sailors and the cabin boy were strewn along the shores of an island. Slowly they staggered onto their feet. They looked around. Strange, this island. They nodded to each other and agreed that this island should not be here. Nowhere on their maps was there land for another 200 miles, and at the end of that 200 miles, they were to be home with their loved ones. There should have been no island here. The sailors split into search groups, some looking for food, others for any sign of life. But before venturing too far from one another, they heard a sound, at first soft, faint. Chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung. The golden sound of sitars, the pulsing beat of Taba's sweet, sweet voices in song. The men were pulled deeper and deeper into the woods, into a golden forest on this island that should not have been here. Then in the distance, from where the music floated, a vision of beauty unlike any other. Hundreds of women, long black hair, swaying with the swinging of their hips as they walked closer and closer to the men. Their silken saris flowed in the breeze, the bells on their ankles tinkling with each step. Chung, ka-chung, chung. Chung, ka-chung, chung, as they walked closer and closer to the men. Oh, their smiles so warm and flirtatious, their arms stretched out in welcome as they walked closer and closer to the men. Chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung, chung, ka-chung, chung. How could one not be mesmerized by the sight of such fluid beauty? And if you were a man, and certainly the sailors were men, how could a man, especially at sea for many a month, not be driven into lust as he felt called by the mesmerizing sight Too good to be true, some whispered. So good, it must be true, others declared. Yet others warned, beware. Too good, so good to be true on an island that should not be here? Be wary. Still men are men. Each letter chose a golden beauty. Some men chose two. They feasted on sweet curry and coconut, cool cucumber and yogurt sauce, vegetables simmered in ghee. And when the golden women began to dance, jung-ka-chung, chung-ka-chung, chung, swirling and twirling, long black hair flying in the turning, chung-ka-chung, chung, chung-ka-chung, chung. And when the golden chains draped around their slender waists swayed hypnotically, the swaying lulled the men into a blissful slumber, sending men dreaming of the next day's pleasures. And this one dream spun the men round and round until they swooned with love. As for the cabin boy, he was young for the women and was content to sit under the river of stars until the music drifting on the breeze lulled him too into a golden slumber. And once again he dreamt of the silver-winged horse, and once again that dream turned like the women turning and turning until, run as fast as you can, run home! Home! We've forgotten home. The cabin boy ran to the captain. Wake up! The men are forgetting home. Shouldn't we build a ship to return home? We can't go home, boy. 100 grooms, 100 brides. Tomorrow is our wedding feast. And the captain turned away to embrace his golden queen even tighter. Oh, for the rest of that night, the cabin boy did not sleep, nor the few men who had stayed with him. And as the morning lit the island, he noticed something now even stranger. Though a heavy sea breeze began to press upon him, the palm trees remained still. Though the sea breeze turned into a lashing wind, the palm trees remained still. And now the sea mounted waves crashing on the shore, and still the palm trees remained still. And then, chung-ka-chung, chung, chung-ka-chung, chung, sha. The cabin boy turned toward the strange sound. It was coming from a lit window of the women's compound. Quickly and carefully he approached the window. Not hundreds of beautiful women, hundreds of demons. He could barely look, so frightening it was. Twisted, bent bodies covered with orange, bulging scales, festering boils, pulsating on every scale. Black, jagged fangs, purple blood dripping from their ears, green pus oozing from their nostrils, and their eyes glowed a pulsing, fiery orange red. The cabin boy ran to warn the men, but halfway up the hill, his legs heavy, he looked down. Chains? Golden chains and shackles? He yanked and pulled to no effect. He had to continue, so he dragged himself up the hill to the men's quarters. We've been tricked. This is not real. Go, look for yourselves. And the boy pointed out the window toward the line of demons coming to greet them. The men rushed to the window. It's our brides, dressed in orange saris, bringing purple flowers and red garlands for our wedding day. No, it's not real. Get this poor boy a bride. His jealousy makes him delusional. And the men raced out the door, unaware of their own chains and shackles, unaware of the torturous death that awaited them as each flew into a tight embrace that would not ever let them go. But there were those of the men who had stayed behind with the cabin boy, a few who had begun to doubt this paradise and an island that should not be here. And they too could see the demons. Run for your lives! And as they climbed out the back windows, oh my God, they saw what this island really was. A stretch of barren, jagged, volcanic rock jutting out of crashing waves. Oh, nowhere to go. Oh, the cabin boy closed his eyes. Hear me now. Hear me now. If this is just a dream, please wake me now, please. And when he opened his eyes, his mind saw it all again. The shipwreck, the men crawling on the golden sand, the men seduced into the golden force, the dancing golden women, the heavy winds, the golden chains. And then his dream spoke. Real or illusion, cabin boy? Who are you? Real or illusion, cabin boy? Illusion! Illusion! And with that answer, immediately a great silver winged horse appeared before him, drenched in a shining white light. Everything else disappeared. Nothing else existed. Not the demons, nor the jagged rocks, the shipwreck, only the white light, nearly blinding him. So bright it was. Then what is real, cabin boy? What is real? I don't know. And the moment he said that, in a flash, he found himself amidst the huddled men, screaming in an ecstasy as the demons crouched low on their bony haunches and began chewing and sucking with delight. What is real? Commanded the winged horse to the cabin boy and the few men who had stayed behind. We must all answer, cried out the few men. It is the truth from our hearts. And with that, all time stopped, and the demons and their unfortunate sailor grooms immediately froze. But the golden chains around the cabin boy and the few men with him melted around their ankles. The silver-winged horse shook its mane, and the men climbed upon its enormous back. With a gigantic leap, the horse's great wings unfolded, and together they soared away. These men were going home. They were the awakened ones going home to their loved ones. Thank you, oh great bodhisattvas. And as they dared to look back, they saw the time on the island that should not be here had resumed. They saw their wretched shipmates raise their golden goblets high, unaware that the red garlands that hung around their necks were their own bloody entrails, as their demon brides devoured them, piece by bloody piece. Their screams of ecstasy turned into screams of pain as they were devoured piece by bloody piece. Then suddenly, the demons turned toward the open seas. There on the horizon, another ship lurched in stormy seas, heading toward the island that should not be here. Chung, 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 sha.
Illusion. So, which was the illusion? The beauties or the demons? The island or the jagged reef?
Well, that's the problem. Even in our own personal lives, we get confused with illusion. Surely we have all had people who smile so sweetly and nice in front of us, but behind their backs, they're holding metaphorical daggers, waiting for the attack and the take. I know that we have had people like that in our lives,
Yes.
and
I'm sure we could talk about those people in our lives who expected to be nice and then they were the opposite.
you know what? Let's have a chat after the stories tonight. So hold your thoughts, because I'm sure we're not alone.
You can hold your tongue for a while, but when we chat,
Yeah, we'll get some dirt. We'll get some dirt.
Dirt, real dirt. Everyone's got a little dirt. Some actually have more dirt than others. And here's the proof of it in our story from the 16th century of China. In fact, it was originally written by Pu Songling in the 16th century, who was a folk writer who gathered the stories and then wrote them down. And it ended up coming to America. Of course, the famous children's writer Lawrence Yep also wrote a version of this, but we have a version of our own.
Indeed.
And this Chinese folktale story is called
The Dirt Ball.
Once upon a time, in the Middle Kingdom, otherwise known as China, there in the mountains, down in the valley, down beside a river, there was a house where lived the shopkeeper husband and his tailor wife.
Oh, life was simple. Each morning, shopkeeper husband is sweeping the dirt in front of the store, while tailor wife puts out the many-colored spools of thread for the day's mending.
Oh, their simple life was peaceful, but oftentimes empty, for they were childless.
Oh, she bitterly wanted children. He did not.
Kids, bah, too much trouble. They make the darndest noise. They never pick up after themselves. And these days, no respect for elders. Kids, bah.
Well, one day, as shopkeeper husband was sweeping the dirt in front of his shop, a small, frail child passed by crying and crying her heart out.
Little girl, what are you crying about?
Well, she didn't answer that, and yet she returned day after day, crying and crying her heart out.
Little girl, what are you crying for?
Once again, she did not answer that. And
Kids, bah.
But by the fourth day, as she passed by, crying and crying her heart out, he grabbed her by the hand, looked her straight in the eyes, and asked,
Little girl, why have you been crying?
Well, this time she answered him, and she told him that she had been sold into slavery by her own parents so that she would not have to starve. But her master was cruel and beat her day and night and worked her to the bone.
The shopkeeper, as if under a spell, surprised himself and gave her silver coins so the little girl could buy back her freedom. Now the little girl was so grateful that she returned to the old couple and offered to serve them as a housemaid to pay back the debt of silver.
The old couple welcomed her into their hearts and into their home, and they called her Little Sweetheart.
Oh, for the days that followed. Little Sweetheart worked very hard to earn her keep.
In fact, she seemed to grow stronger day after day.
But strange. The old couple seemed to grow weaker and weaker. Oh, a strange pain in my heart.
Oh, I will get some heart herbs in the morning at the marketplace.
Well, the next morning, as tailor wife was at the marketplace shopping for herbs, she noticed a rather strange and unusually filthy old man staring at her with a half-crazed look, all the while digging a hole in the dirt.
What are you staring at, old man? Is this not herbal tea for the heart?
It's the dirty truth.
Truth?
Some people would rather die.
Die?
Than know the truth.
Truth?
Can you keep a secret?
Oh, wholeheartedly.
Cross your heart.
And hope to die.
Your husband will
Die.
Die. Soon.
Oh, nonsense.
You'll be heartless.
He's been that way for years.
You're living with a monster.
He has his days.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Not Little Sweetheart.
As I said, some people would rather die than know the truth.
What? Who are you? Where did he go?
Well, his tailor wife was still at the marketplace. Shopkeeper husband was coming back from work, and into his house he saw a light in Sweetheart's room. Oh, Sweetheart, I'm back. I'm home. Sweetheart? Is that you? Kids make the darndest noise. Sweetheart, I'm back. It's me. Green-skinned demon. Red beady eyes. Long bony fingernails drawing an outline on parchment paper. It's slipping inside the skin. It is, sweetheart.
A shopkeeper husband rounded up the neighbors, and armed with knives, they burst into little sweetheart's room.
Out of our house.
But Father, what have I done?
Don't touch me. You're a monster.
But
Go. For 3 days and 3 nights, the neighbors stood on guard, watching for any sign of the demon girl.
But by the 4th night, they saw no one that looked like little sweetheart. So
On the 4th day,
they locked up the house
and went to bed.
and said, "Doce."
It was safe, cozy, and warm. And
Then they
they
fell asleep. Green vapor slipped under the crack of the door, eased itself across the room and up the far wall, looming evil, growing bigger over the edge of the bed. And suddenly, a claw struck out of the darkness, a claw with fingernails as sharp as knives, and plunged. And it ate the heart.
The next morning, Taylor's wife lay dead, asleep. But as the sun rose, she began to stretch and yawn, and she turned towards her beloved husband in bed, and
Oh, my husband, he's dead, he's dead.
dead in bed, she ran into the road screaming for help. And once again, she met up with,
Oh, old man, my husband, he's dead, he's dead.
I told you so.
What?
You need a little magic.
I'll take your magic.
Have a little dirt.
I don't need your dirt, I need your help.
You need my help.
Yes.
You need my help.
Yes.
You need my help.
So you'll help me?
Too late. He's dead.
But I'll do anything.
Did you just say anything?
Yes.
Anything? Anything? I got the wait. Just wait. I got the There.
Oh, not your dirt ball.
It's a big one.
Oh.
Eat it.
No, I will not eat your dirt ball.
You said you'd do
No,
anything.
no.
You said you'd do it. You said you'd do it.
And he just disappeared again. But Taylor's wife, she ran home as quickly as she could, hoping that somehow magic had happened, and there her husband was.
Still dead in bed.
Oh, dear husband, I am so sorry. I thought the old man was but he just turned out to be a dirty old man, and to think I ate his dirt ball. Living heart, a living heart.
Quickly, she took that pulsing heart, plopped it into his hollow chest, and sewed him up with Taylor Speed.
Oh, he breathes.
He breathes.
He lives.
He lives.
He lives.
And for the days that followed, she nursed her husband back to health, and then returned to the marketplace to fetch more herbs for the heart. And once again, she met up with...
Oh, thank you so much, Master.
You're not out of trouble yet, lady.
No.
Yes. You see, that monster demon girl wants a taste of your husband's new heart.
Oh.
Yes. 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 I got something.
Oh, no, not another dirt ball. Whoa,
It's a bag.
a bag.
Just a bag.
A bag.
You got it?
Got it.
You got it. This time when a demon creature enters your house, stare him down Wait till he's as close can be. Do not look away. And when the demon is very, very close, hold up the bag. The bag's magic will capture the demon. Throw that demon and the bag into the fire. But whatever you do, don't look inside that bag.
Got it.
You got it?
Got it.
You got it.
Oh, once again, he just vanished, but this time he appeared high on the cliff, digging a deep hole in the ground.
Dirt.
Oh, well, Taylor wife once again returned home as quickly as she could, and together with her husband, they locked up the house, stoked the fire, went to bed,
clutching the bag,
and waited.
Looming, evil,
Growing bigger over the edge of the bed. Oh, he's getting closer.
Wait till he's very close.
Closer.
Stare him in the eyes.
Closer.
Don't look away.
Closer.
Wait till he's close.
Closer. No.
The bag. Out of the bag shot a magic hand that grabbed the demon by the neck, thrashing about. The demon was yanked into the sack. Here, you hold it. Hey, there's nothing inside. Into the fireplace with the demon in the bag, up the chimney, a puff of smoke. Don't do that.
And from above that mountain cliff spiraled green ash into the grimy palms of the old master. He took that green dirt ball.
It's a big one.
He plopped it into the hole in the ground, covered it up with a mound of dirt.
Everyone's got a little dirt.
Yes, we all have dirt, but some more than others.
Don't mention any names. We don't want to call forth any bad energy, any bad vibe,
Yeah.
especially in this space.
Yeah, we don't want them here at all, because especially here, because I think the Orca Center, and by the way, thank you very much, Orca Center, for letting us broadcast from here, but I think it's haunted.
Haunted? What makes you think it's haunted here?
Because they work in illusion all the time, as do storytellers, and that opens the portal, you know, and calls forth.
Well, let's open up a portal of conversation now.
Oh, good, good.
You know, things like illusion versus reality.
Goodness, evil.
Yeah, put anything in the chat and we'll talk about that,
You want to?
if you want to.
I'm going to go and look at my little
Chat
computer
box.
chat box and see if there's any questions, anything you want to say that we can respond to.
Meanwhile, I'll give you a light show. Here it goes. Let's get some spooky lights. Whoa. Hey, lights. Hey, this is 60s all over again. Wow.
maybe there's
Okay.
nothing. Do you have something?
Well, we'll keep it in this realm. Now let's get back to green. So, yeah.
Do you have anyone on yours?
Oh, let me just take a peek here. Let's take a peek, see here at old Facebook.
Really, we all have had those kinds of experiences, right?
I do need to say hello to some. Oh, Rachel out there.
Oh, someone just asked what our donation site is. Oh, Robert Ricasa, you're so sweet. It is, go to www.ethnotech.org/donate,
Yeah.
and it'll take you to the PayPal button.
We'll show you a little a post-show trailer that we have, and it'll give some details about how to help us out there.
But especially it's ETHNOHTEC. There's no H on tech, but there is an H on no. And maybe that's why sometimes we have so much trouble technologically. But it is ethnotech.org/donate.
Here's a question from my high school friend Diane. Hey Diane, how you doing? And so she has a very interesting question here. What can we do about fears that aren't realized and may never be? Well, that's one thing about fear. It is, it's where is it live? Is it out there? No, it's always inside here and in here. And so we also have to keep that in check to not make fears, not to react to fear as if it were real. But keep them in check and know that when you're reacting to something, are you reacting out of fear or reacting out of really having some power and control in your life about it? Also, Rachel. Hi, Rachel out there in Utah. Here. Are certain dirts more symbolic than others? Clay versus fertile dirt. Yeah, dirt is certainly, there's healthy soil. Life comes out of soil.
But there's that other
Filthy stuff.
metaphorical slime dirt.
Lime. Scum.
No,
Rot.
we have been hearing it all year. It's been bubbling up from the deep, deep.
From the dark, danky, grimy, slimy.
Otherwise, I mean, dirt in the garden is wonderful. We should all be able to kind of
Yeah.
dig in the dirt and plant and understand how life is on this wonderful earth we have.
That's healthy dirt. Yeah. But then there's that scummy, slimy stuff that comes out of the metaphorical swamp, which, we see a lot of that in the headlines these days. So, let's see here. What else we have here?
Brian just told us that there's something strange going on the island. It's kind of a green light.
A
What is
green
he
light?
said? And there's a hound hiding under the bed.
Under the bed. You always got to check under the bed.
He thinks he's our neighbor. He thinks maybe we left it there, didn't bring it down here. But no, Brian, no. It's what we've been talking about. You look to the right, to the left, you never know what's there. What shouldn't be there. What used to be there, it's not there. And what's not supposed to be there, and it's there.
Wow. Some great comments coming in. Thank you so much to Mary Hermans out there. Maxine, how you doing? Oh, great. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Marie. Olga, Haley, Olga. All right.
But my sister, Jo, has a question. How do you keep from being drawn into the unreal, misinformed world? Does it mean you lose your life and your soul? Oh my gosh. I think if you are drawn, you guys tell me, when you're drawn into the misinformed and into the unreal world, into the lies and the temptations of the dark, you do end up, if you step into it and you take it on, I think you lose your soul. I think you lose your
Yeah, you lose
life.
yourself.
It can get that bad. We know about cults.
Yeah. I guess one thing to ask,
we don't want to
too,
do that, though.
one thing to ask yourself when confronted with fear and the reactive mind is to see, well, is your action, is it coming from a place of your heart, from love? Because if it's coming from the ego mind, we can get a lot of trouble when it's just our opinions and thoughts and our positions gripping us. But when it comes from the love in our hearts, then we find truth in that.
And there are portals everywhere. We met a guy in, was it Arizona? And he goes to certain sites where he feels there's a portal, and he builds a pyramid there.
Stargates.
Stargate. And I mean, the portals are all around us. So you just have to, like Deborah Babcock just said, to go into the portal of discovery of light, but not into the portal of darkness unless you want to discover the dark. But beware, especially now. Especially now.
Especially now.
Let's say anything.
Yeah. By the way, while we're doing some filler here, the Tales of Terror was actually a title of the show we used to do every year in the fall, in October, in San Francisco at the Randall Museum. And we had like the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts would come, moms and dads would fill the house. And our good friend Sharon Al Curtis would bake little goodies.
Little eyeballs.
Little eyeballs on top of cupcakes, I believe, because we had a story, kind of like a Japanese version of Rumpelstiltskin, where the ogre that came out of the river, he offered a deal to the bridge builder in exchange for one eyeball. And there was a song, give me one eyeball, one eyeball, give me one eyeball, one eyeball.
Oniroku.
Give me one eyeball, one eyeball, give me one eyeball,
one eyeball, give me one eyeball.
Oh,
yeah. Now Ginny wants to know, Ginny Stern, she wants to know how we can exorcise all this evil in the world today. What would the ancient Asian storytellers say? Well, if he was a Taoist, he'd go flow with it.
Go with the flow.
Go with the evil.
Yeah.
See where it takes you.
Or,
Maybe it'll just dissipate because you're not resisting, like Aikido.
Of course, also in many Asian philosophies too, fear is an illusion. And the illusions are all here. We need to find truth from the heart. Yes. Marie's asked a question. How long have you been performing these stories? They're great scary stories. We'll see. When did we do our first Tales of Terror?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably 20 years ago.
Probably. We're pretty
Maybe
old.
more. 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharon would know. Sharon Al Curtis.
Yeah.
There's another. Do you want to?
I was
more?
No.
Okay, so there's another question. Alexandra Lihobe. In the last story, it was interesting how the female evil character began as such a vulnerable child, and yet she held an evil demon within. How can we know the difference?
Not been
That's
fooled.
the thing. We have had some pretty awful people stab us in the back. It's just inevitable in this lifetime and maybe in the certain art world. But,
That was a lesson for us, though.
yeah.
Because
So
we were naive, and we were
Yeah.
new age,
Yeah.
love all, everyone's good, find the
Everyone
goodness
has
in
a
everyone.
goodness.
No,
We'll just talk to their good side, but they would just take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is, how do you save yourself? First of all, you will know, because I knew this woman was not to be trusted, and yet I warned Robert, but we still just said, okay. And certainly it turned out really horrible. And so we have learned that when we feel that feeling or we see something, we walk away now.
paying attention to our intuition.
Yeah, so that's how you tell the difference. You trust yourself. And maybe you're wrong, but better safe than sorry. So it's about not being naive in the sense of not being able to trust what's presented to you in all good faith, that there is something here that you shouldn't step into, like that big pile of shit on the ground in front of you.
Yeah.
So just don't do it.
We've also learned too that you have to come from a place, a real grounded place of knowing your worth, knowing your power, and not giving it away or being fooled by a lot of glitz and glamour and glitter. You really have to trust this very deep core of who you are. And when we made that declaration to come from that place of real earnest love power, that's when the universe said, okay, you're ready to receive the gifts. And so ever since that time, good things have happened our way. Good miracles, good people, good vibe, good connections.
Like the storytelling community.
Yeah.
Whoa. I've been in the dance community. Robert in the music.
Musicians.
It's just, and theater. And just storytellers are just this wonderful community. So everything has a purpose, whether you like it or not. I mean, I know all of us would like to see karma happening right in front of our eyes in present time, but it just might not happen.
Here's a
But
question.
we move on, right? We
Yep.
move on, even though we still wish that karma would take place.
Here's a question coming up here, and someone wants to know about our choreography. How do we develop the choreography for the parts that we collaborate?
I don't know. We just, when we write these stories after reading the folk tale, we write our own script, and then we go back and forth, changing it. Then I change his, and he changes mine until we got the one we want. And by that time, we have seen it.
And when we choose a story, too, we look for a possibility of physical expression. So it might be the like in the dirt ball, the strange wild character. I also saw him as like this half crazed look, and so my body would shape that way.
Yeah, but together, I mean, it's like over the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it's just gesturing over the edge of the bed, and then we exaggerate it, we stylize it, and I mean, it's really very descriptive, like the green ash over, going down the floor and up the far wall.
The other thing, after
It's very descriptive.
working together for 40 years, we have kind of our own personal duet Wi-Fi. So if she makes a shape, then we know there's a flow. And if it changes, then she adapts. So it's kind of peripheral, peripheral.
And we've been together for almost 40 years, day and nights, 27.
Add four to that.
Feels like 27 hours.
27 hours a day.
24 hours, 7 days a week. So, it's like, I'm sure all of those of you who've been with a partner for all these many years, you finish each other's sentences, you know what movement is next.
It's Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers,
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello, Mutt and
The
Jeff,
Three Stooges, two there.
Tom and
one
Jerry.
me.
Yeah, yin and yang, left and right, up and down, in and out, day and night.
So I know some people are having to go.
It's late back east.
It's 6 here, but it's 9 back east.
So, yes, we definitely enjoyed performing for you, and we
And we
love the
could
comments
go
too.
on all night because I'm sure all of you have had some interesting experiences that we all would love to share. But maybe you can find someone or write to us and tell us about your experiences of the other side, that other side that's actually right always next to us.
And the next time we see you will be after Halloween, of course, but even more importantly, after the election. So,
The election day, the scarier day of the two. Stay safe and make sure every vote counts.
and wear your mask too.
Ignore the goblins and the demons, embrace goodness, and as we bid farewell, a message first.
Yeah, here we go, folks. See you next time. Hope you've enjoyed this show and look forward to streaming more stories for you again. For almost 4 decades, Eth-No-Tec has been on the stages before well over 1 million people in schools and libraries, community and senior centers, theaters and festivals and universities, not only throughout the United States, but internationally as well. We believe that storytelling is cultural activism, as we use our art form to address the celebration of diversity, the legacy of social justice and immigration, and respect for our environment. Take a peek. We have some pictures for you.
Pictures of our projects that our nonprofit has been doing over the past 4 decades. Green Grows the Story, storytelling and environmental education. The Forgiveness Project, youth at risk and the power of forgiveness, collaborating with Takashi Tanemori, a hibakusha and atom bomb survivor. The Salon You're On series, a multidisciplinary art sharing in the community. The Nuwa Project, international storytelling and cultural exchange between East and West, storytellers in India, China, and Korea. The East-West Story Fest, a celebration concert of national Asian American storytellers. The Red Altar Theater Piece, a tale of Chinese immigration during America's horrible Chinese exclusion era. The Immigratitude Project, community connection to immigration through narrative and art making. As our world is going through a chaotic and yet transformative time, it's our resolve to create art that inspires compassionate action and become even stronger together. We invite you to join us in this effort. Please make a donation to our nonprofit. Visit our website, of course. There's a merch store there. You can purchase some of our storytelling culture products. If you'd like us to come to your organization, let us know. We'd love to hear from your comments and welcome your partnership. So until next time, I'm Robert Kikuchi Ngo, my partner Nancy Wong. We are Eth-No-Tec, and we invite you to share your stories, hear the stories of others, and, very important, listen with your heart.